flowing rivers of holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
The poorest way to face life is to face it with a snare, a cynical habit of thought and speech, a readiness to criticize work which the critic himself never tries to perform, an intellectual aloofness which will not accept contact with life's realities. All of these are marks not of superiority, but of weakness. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions? Who spends himself, expend all his energy in a worthy cause? Who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement? And who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. The man in the arena. My fellow Ambazonians, revolutionary greetings, wherever in the world you find yourself. I want to extend my greetings to our prisoners, those who escaped extrajudicial execution and are housed in the dungeons of the genocides in Yaoundé, in Kondengi, and around La République du Cameroon. To our people who at this moment are undergoing some of the tough days we will ever see in our struggle for liberation, in the diaspora, in the refugee camps, to our forces, who even in tough times teaches the Ambazonian people that we are a people who know how to chew gum and walk at the same time, who man the guard post, who stand outside the villages and protect the towns. You keep the flame of liberation burning. I salute you all. My fellow Ambazonians, today we stand united in a moment of profound grief and solemn reflection. We have lost a war leader, a beacon of hope, a symbol of our enduring struggle for freedom and self-determination. This tragedy has robbed us of a beloved son, a fearless warrior, and a visionary leader whose life was dedicated to the noble cause of our nation's liberation. But in the face of this immense loss of our battlefield leader, we are reminded of the strength that lies in our unity, the resilience that is born from our shared aspiration, and the unbreakable spirit that defines us as a people. Our fallen heroes' legacy is not just the battles fought or the strategies devised. It is etched in the hearts and minds of each one of us who dream of an Ambazonian defined by justice, dignity, and sovereignty. As we reflect on the life lived by this immense figure, let us also reaffirm our commitment to the ideals for which our general stood. Let this moment of sorrow galvanize our resolve to continue our journey towards the free, proud, and prosperous Ambazonia that he envisioned. In his memory, and in honor of those who have sacrificed for our cause, let us stand together, undeterred, unwavering, on the path of our righteous struggle. His blood and the blood of those fallen who have fallen in the line of duty. Our tears today waters the seed of freedom. Waters the seed of the freedom that we shall reap tomorrow. Together as one people, I believe deeply in my heart that we shall overcome. My fellow Ambazonians, on a day of our Lord, a normal day, PIC of the Ambazonian Revolution called me and indicated to me that in 97 that some of our critical assets, human assets, have been picked up. Our locations are compromised. We need to move. And therein began a journey that 1 year before had forced us underground to live like rats in the land of our birth. It forced us on a journey that, since I had no passport, I had to climb the bottom of a ship and lie on timber to be able to escape the land of my birth. From that day, I don't think we have ever been anything but honest to the Ambazonian people. that the fight for our liberation was not going to be easy. That there are dark days, days that you will not even imagine, days that will shake the heart of a giant. We never promised easy. Our generals, our field commanders never promised easy. The history of our liberation never promised easy. The occupation and the barbarity of the Turks in Yaoundé, of our occupying Turks, has taught us throughout their history of occupation to never expect easy. So while they might think, why the detractors, the enablers, the traitors, and La République du Cameroon might enjoy a momentary victory, we are not a people accustomed to easy. They have trained us. They have taught us. They have demonstrated to us that we should not expect that. And we can never expect it. And that is why we still stand today. That is why we are still standing. That is why the revolution will almost as a certainty intensify. That is why a day ago you got up to the sounds and the sight of Operation Cobra Sting. That is the legacy. That the revolution intensifies and continues. That we have been taught, our soldiers have taught us to be able to march and chew gum at the same time. That we are so strong that I can stand here and mourn the death of our general. Because I know that's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of determination, of loss, but of promise. A promise of my tears falling on the ground of Ambazonia. That tears is going to water the tree of freedom for tomorrow. It is why on his death, you had the traitors going down and those who killed him at Alak Bukam, at the traitors' fun palace in AY. The AY people who in a few weeks will be coming together under the auspices of the Transition Authority to select a new ruler for that land. Because nobody born of a traitor blood will ever sit on the throne of those Ambazonian people. So from Alak to Bui military district, Momo, from Operation Cobra Sting, that tells those who think they might take advantage of a loss of an Ambazonian general to think that they can come and wipe out evidence of a land at war, of a people mourning the loss of a general, by building monuments of the enemy. Our forces taught them a lesson and will teach anyone who think that this is a time to either betray Ambazonians, to either go against the revolution, to take advantage. We tell them the flame that General Ivo left and that General Efang built into an inferno. That inferno, that fire will consume you if you attempt that. Because our general, the supreme general of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, is a colossal figure who stands in the history of Ambazonia and in the history of Africa as one of the export that Ambazonian has exported to anybody in Africa and the world who aspire freedom. Not unlike what other countries have exported. I know we always believe ourselves a unique people, and that is okay. We are unique. Our story is unique. Our revolution is unique. But we are part of the human history. We are part and parcel of the human strife for freedom. And as we knew, as the people of Cuba know, as the people of Bolivia know, as everyone know, the death of a liberation leader, the death of a field commander, is just the seed planted for success of that revolution. And if the Ambazonian people don't believe me, let me just go down the annals of history a little bit here. Che Guevara, the Argentinian revolutionary leader, a colossal figure of the Cuban Revolution, who died in 1967, assassinated by anti-revolutionaries. His name and achievement has lived through history. You have Emiliano Zapata, a leading figure, ambushed and assassinated in 1919 by the Mexican forces in Morales. But I want to take a moment and talk to the Ambazonian people about Nathan Hale. Nathan Hale, a school teacher. And this story is instructive to every one of us, every single one of us, as we march through this valley of sorrow with strong resolve, our head held up high as we pick up this baton of this brave soldier and march on. Nathan Hale was a soldier of the Continental Army of the American Revolutionary War. Listen to his last words when he was being executed. He said, and our General Efang has repeated these words. He repeated when he lost men in mile 27. He repeated that those were one of the words that he's repeated in the command forum about the soldiers to keep on fighting, that he can also die. I only regret, as Nathan Hale said, I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country. That's his last word when his executioners asked him what his last words were. I repeat, he said, I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country. This is a man who was born in 1775 in Connecticut and graduated from Yale College and worked as a school teacher. And when the war broke out, he joined the army and quickly became known for his dedication and bravery. At the height of the New York campaign, General George Washington was desperate for accurate intelligence about British army troop movement, and Nathan volunteered to go behind enemy lines where he was captured. He was interrogated without trial, condemned to be hanged before his execution on September 22nd, 1776. He delivered his famous last words of he regrets that he had just one life to lose for his country. His story became legendary in American history, symbolizing patriotic sacrifice and courage. He is remembered and honored as a hero who willingly gave his life in a cause for history. My fellow Ambazonians, that is the echelon for which our general has mounted. As the Americans talk of Nathan Hale, we talk of General Effan. As the Scottish people remember William Wallace, we remember General Effan. Wallace, a Scottish knight who became one of the main leaders during the wars of Scottish independence. He was captured in 1305 by the English forces and executed. These are the figures. As I say, we are part of the human history. Our story is unique. Our history is unique. Our people are unique. But we are part of this human history, this human movement of liberation. My fellow Ambazonians, we all have grown on the history of Thomas Sankara, often referred to as the African Che Guevara, a revolutionary leader from 1983 until his assassination in 1987 in Burkina Faso. He is a man who implemented radical and progressive reforms, including mass vaccination infrastructure, women's rights, changed the name of his country from the colonial one of Upper Volta to the land of upright men, known as Burkina Faso. He was outspoken against imperialism and neocolonialism. He sought to unite African nations to resist economic and political dependence on the West, and was an advocate for Pan-Africanism. My fellow Ambazonians, General Effan joined the ranks of the Thomas Sankara as our own contribution. That's despite his short time as the supreme leader of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, he has become an iconic figure in Ambazonia and in Africa. His idealism and his death makes him a symbol of our struggle, a struggle against corruption, neocolonialism, and fight for social justice. This is our gift that he gave to us, a gift that we are going to give to the oppressed people of Africa and the world. That in their time of darkness, they remember this leader, the Supreme General of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, whose life was cut short by the forces of La République du Cameroon and stands today as a towering figure in the annals of our revolutionary history. A beacon of resilience and unwavering commitment to the cause of Ambazonian independence. His life marked by an unyielding dedication to the principles of nationalism and self-determination cast a long shadow of inspiration that should transcend borders and transcend time. A builder of movements and a commander of hearts, the general was not just a military strategist, but also a visionary who recognized the indispensable synergy between the people and the revolutionary forces. In his hands, the Ambazonians Defense Forces were not just an army, but an embodiment of the aspiration of the Ambazonian people. He wove the fabric of community effort into the very core of the army, ensuring that every stride towards freedom was a step taken together with the people he sought to liberate. His establishment of a free space in Ambazonia was not merely a territorial gain, but a testament to the possibility of a future unshackled from oppression. In this space, the values of freedom, equality, and self-governance found fertile ground to flourish, nurtured by his wisdom and foresight. Renowned for his selflessness, the general placed the needs and welfare of Ambazonia above personal gain, embodying the essence of true leadership. His intelligence, not just in military tactic, but in understanding the human spirit, was remarkable, fostering a deep respect and unwavering loyalty among his followers and the civilian population alike. Adhering strictly to the principle of civilian control over the military, he upheld the democratic ideals that he fought for, ensuring that his actions were always in service to the people and the collective will of the Ambazonian governing council. His respect for the civilian chain of command was a testament to his democratic ethos, a rarity in the realm of revolutionary struggles. His journey has been cut short, not on the battlefield of honor, but through an egregious injustice, tortured, executed extrajudicially. Yet in his martyrdom, the Supreme General's legacy is immortalized. He joins the ranks of other revolutionary luminaries like Thomas Sankara, Captain Nathan Hale, Che Guevara, Emiliano Zapata, Juan Molin, Bisa Munda, William Wallace, even Spartacus, the Thracian gladiator, who along with escaped slaves under his command fought against Roman forces in the Third Civil War. This is our general. Joining these individuals who transcended their mortal existence to become symbols of resistance, courage, and the enduring fight for justice and liberty. The Supreme General of Ambazonia will forever be remembered as a colossal figure in the history of Ambazonia and the world. His sacrifice, far from being in vain, has sown the seeds of inspirations for generations to come, ensuring that the flame of freedom and the quest of self-determination continue to burn brightly in the hearts of all those who yearn for an equitable world. This is not our first rodeo, Ambazonians. We have been here with General Fiango, General Ivo, with the General Guignams, the General Fu, the General Sumolis. We have been here with the General Anagos. My fellow Ambazonians, we have been here. We have been here. We have been here. And what have we done? We have always responded immensely. When one fall, the other pick up the baton and expand, not contract. Expand the legacy. Build, not just rebuild, but build further. That has been always our mantra. And that is why for this figure, in remembrance of him, we are designating his day of remembrance, 72 hours. Day of remembrance, days of remembrance, where the flags of Ambazonians are going to fly low in wherever it is flying. Those of the ADF are going to fly at half mast for those 3 days that we remember the Supreme General. The Ambazonian people will stay at home, don't come out, as our people remember him on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of February. Stay home. Flags fly at half mast as we remember the Supreme General of the Ambazonian Defense Forces of the Revolution on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of February. My fellow Ambazonians, I know that the past few weeks has been a time when the Ambazonians expect a monument for the Supreme General. My fellow countrymen, this is not a time for monuments. It's not a time that a general asks us for that. It's a time for us to ensure that the cause for which he fought and gave his life for, the cause for which he gave up his liberty and freedom, that cause continue, even more effective, even more viciously prosecuted to the end. That is a promise. And to ensure that promise, to honor him and ensure that his banner is carried forward in this revolution, there is an aspect in front of the War Council that I expect it to pass and be adopted within the various organs of the Ambazonian Governing Council. And that is that the Akamantos be folded into becoming the 10th division of the Ambazonian Defense Forces. And this brigade of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, the Akamantos, folded into the 10th division of our army, that this 10th division became known as the General Efang Division of the Ambazonian Defense Forces. So that hundreds of years, as Ambazonians go into military schools, they will go into some of the prestigious brigades, and the 10th division will be one of those brigades where they would like to serve. So when you see in this struggle the Akamantos march, you know that the 10th brigade is marching. The 10th division of the Ambazonian Defense Forces is marching. The General Efang Division will be marching. If any honor, you want to honor him, anything you want to do for him for this time, you look into that division once it is, which I believe it basically to become into existence. You look at that as a support for anything for him in the revolution. I know I cannot begin, and I'm not going to pretend that this has not been a big loss for us as a people, for our revolution. I am not going to pretend that it doesn't give satisfaction to the traitors within us, those who rejoice at his death, the death of this Ambazonian colossus. I am not going to pretend that they are not rejoicing. But what I am going to promise is history to them. Look at the history of the Ambazonian people, how we have always responded to these things, and know that this is the year of liberation. This is the year of liberation. May God bless you and his soul and the soul of his family. May those who pray to their various gods and the gods of Ambazonia, may you offer prayers in his name. May you offer prayers to his men. May you continue double your support in his honor for his men. And I promise you, as they have shown you, that they can mourn him and still carry on with the job. I promise you, the chain of command of the Ambazonian Defense Forces is unbroken. The forces have rallied, and the revolution continues resolutely, more focused, and will be carried on more viciously. I promise you that. God bless you and Ambazonia.
Hail this land of glory, we the Ambazonians pledge our loyalty. Praise to our Savior who granted us the freedom, and legends to the hero who fought along we gather. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation flowing with earth and holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
Ambazonia Defense Forces, the vanguards of the Ambazonia War of Independence.
For 50 years, these two mass murderers used violence and deception to keep Ambazonia hostage. Most Ambazonian patriots succumbed and enabled the dismantling of our political institutions. Then came the commander-in-chief, the leader of the never-again generation, and prescribed iron for iron, block by block, and fire for fire. Today, 7 years after Ambazonia has emerged, it has an army, run its own schools, let's pay our liberation tax to raise a budget to take our struggle to the next level.
Ambazonia Defense Forces, the vanguards of the Ambazonia War of Independence. Welcome to ACN.